Okay, the time is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this Economic Development Commission meeting to order for Thursday, November 21st, 2024. Start with roll call on my left.
Jerry Citro.
Mr. Rocher.
Tom Sinklitz.
June Gagnon.
Shannon Fagan.
All right, any additions to the agenda? No? Okay. Next item is approval of the minutes from the October 10th, 2024 meeting. Hopefully everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
Okay,
from October.
we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Here, good. Next item is public participation. Dawn, thank you for joining us tonight. This is your opportunity to address the Economic Development Commission.
Okay, should I stand to do this?
Why not?
I was asked here actually to, due to a Facebook post regarding a young woman that is in our high school, a Miss Cribby, I forget her first name. I believe she was a sophomore that had done a drawing of a war photographer. And she not only placed, I think it was 3rd in the state, but 12th place nationally for her artwork. And it just made me think that we don't really have anything, and those who know me in conversation, out in public, know that I am a proponent for the arts, and we really don't have that much in Plainfield. We have Marie's School of Dance, we have Dance Works, and that's about it. We have an awesome theater department at the Plainfield High School, but when those kids graduate, they have nowhere to go. They can go to Putnam, but why are we sending them to Putnam? They can go anywhere, but we want them here. We want to keep them here in Plainfield. And it got me thinking about the art space that's down in Norwich. I used to have a friend that rented from art space many, many years ago when she was younger. But anyways, art space, actually, I didn't know, is, I don't know if you want to call it a business or an organization, but they have places not only in Norwich, but Hartford and Windham as well. And they completely rehabilitate and they provide attractive, affordable housing for people in art. They're designed to meet the needs of the artists and online media professionals. And when I was thinking about the online media professionals, I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to have an art space somewhat on a smaller scale here in Plainfield, not only for Plainfield, but if you make it on a larger scale, outside people would then come to Plainfield. It would boost our economic base by just having more people come here and utilize our restaurants and everything. But I don't want to jump too far ahead. In the art space, there are little single, the one in Norwich and Willimantic have actually 1 and 2 bedrooms, but there's no reason why we can't have it on a smaller scale with studio apartments. But a centralized area all under one roof where artists can be free to express themselves in any kind of media, whether it be art, drawing, sculpting, the ones we're used to, painting, or the ones we think of as art, but also have a studio set up for a podcast. We don't have any media, broadcasting media like that nowadays, and that would really get a lot of younger kids in here, younger adults in here, short range. Also inside this art community, so we don't use the name art space, inside or art collective building, we could also have a place where they can gather for social events, where they can put on exhibitions, things like that, to draw the community in to see what they're doing. There's also shared space. I just typed out a few reasons why art is very important to the community. People just think, oh, it's art. It's a little class that you go to in school, and then after that it's nothing. But art reduces crime. It's proven that art can reduce crime because it builds understanding between different groups. You can have people who would never even look or speak to each other out on the streets if they had seen one another, but yet when they know they have a shared interest, it creates communication between different groups, generates community discussions on social issues. All art stems from any social issue. It's a way that people feel free and safe to express themselves. It increases connection to the community. Art is a method of not only self-expression, but also community expression. Anything that is going on new in the community. Look at all of these pictures you have here, and I notice what these are all from. These all stem from something that is happening in our community. The new park in Moosa, the new trailway. It promotes innovation. Engaging with the arts encourages us to go beyond the surface and think critically and creatively about the world around us. And in turn, this leads to creative approaches. So it's not always the standard or the status quo, always the standard answer, always, well, this is the way we've always done it in the past. Art breeds creativity. And it helps communities to cope in times of crises. Not only the community at large, but people as well. Not too far back in the distant past, 2020, I bet everyone here either started journaling, started reading a book, started painting, started a new hobby, crocheting, arts, whatever it was. But that's how you dealt in that time of crisis. It was a way for you to all express yourselves and let out whatever outlet you needed. And art benefits the local economy. It is a path to economic regeneration. Investing in art and culture attracts new populations and businesses to local areas. The art industry is also known to boost tourism, domestic and foreign, into the hospitality. So not only would you have an art collective space putting on a local exhibition, people may want to come and see what is here. And I'm not saying that Plainfield is going to be the next The Factory or the next Laurel Canyon. And if anybody needs to Google those two things, just cements the reason why we need an art collective here in Plainfield. Everybody should know about it, and I believe it would bring more people into Plainfield, not just people who are graduating and then going nowhere. And the art collective space could also be a stopover for high school graduates to really find themselves, really hone in on their craft, and then probably go off to an art college or something like that. But if we're thinking on a smaller scale, and I have been thinking about this for quite some time now, if we're thinking on a smaller scale, and I know that there are probably paint plans in the works for some of these buildings, but just so you get an idea, the Family Resource Center that is now standing empty and is looking, I guess, to be sold would be a good spot, because all of those rooms could be turned into little studio apartments, and then you have the larger areas that could be your exhibition areas. Another place, and I know and understand that the Catholic Church probably does not want to get rid of any of their property, but the All Hallows School in Moosa would be another good place. The classrooms could serve as the individual housing units, and then they have larger spaces for exhibition and common areas. And if you're thinking on an even grander scale than those two areas, where more people than just the Plainfield people can utilize it, would be the Warregan Mills. And I understand that's kind of up in the air with, but there's just different, you have a small scale building to consider, you have a little bit larger, and then you have a grand scale. But all of them would be great places. So, please consider bringing art into Plainfield. And there's got to be some grants and stuff out there for it. I also understand the art space, the one from Hartford, Willimantic, and Norwich. There's some issues with their management team right now. A lot of people aren't really too keen on the new management team they have. So I don't know if Plainfield is able to directly set up a board and somehow get something going in Plainfield without.
Who's running it?
I don't know. I just went online to find out a whole bunch of information on them, and It was just filled with complaints about the managerial.
So you find out where
Situation,
that's
yeah.
coming, who's in charge.
Yeah.
Is there a website where we can go to get more information about what you were just talking about?
Art Space, Norwich.
Okay.
They're allowed pets there, they have amenities there, they have parking, the average rent, floor plans. I don't know if you just want to.
Oh,
Tom, what would be the first steps for this? Finding the location, finding the funding, finding somebody to administer the program?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also the space, any kind of renovations that would have to be done, that would fall into the funding. We would need funding, of course, to get it up and going. Instead of having like one company or one person and then hiring a managerial staff, I think it would be more beneficial to have a board sit on it, where you could have some of the art teachers or music teachers from the high school, or any of the schools, not just high school, art teachers, music teachers. You could probably have some local business owners from Dance Works or Marie's, people who have that kind of background. If they could sit on a board, and then of course the board would hire the managerial staff, day-to-day staff.
It was a wonderful idea. I'd like to see it make movement forward.
Yes.
I'm not sure who takes ownership of that, if you approach the city and ask for space, but I think it's definitely, any place where a community can congregate should be a priority. And so I think it's a wonderful place, not just for adults, for
Yes.
children, but, all our place. So I support any sort of process in this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's great. Certainly a good discussion topic that we can bring up at future meetings.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe in the meantime, some of us can do some research, and come back, and I'm sure Shannon can, let us know if there's any grants. Once we would get to that point, if they would be pursued down the road. Very neat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Amazing
everyone.
presentation. Thanks for
Oh,
taking
thank
time
you.
to-
Thank you for your time.
All right.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Dawn, did you give them the name just now? Did you give them the names of those two big ones nationally that they could look up to? Besides just the Wyndham and the Norwich? You mentioned two bigger national
the factory?
places or
Oh,
something.
those
Oh,
locations
the
we were
factory
Those
in
two.
Laurel Canyon? Laurel
Yeah.
Canyon?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
The Laurel Canyon South, Crosby, Stills and Nash, the Birds.
Really?
Yes,
Oh.
oh my goodness, how much else can I go?
They're involved
They're involved?
in that?
No, I just was saying
They came
that
out of
that's a good reason to have arts, because people need to know that there are people out there that want to congregate and create art
Yeah.
and bounce ideas off of each other.
I just never heard
And
of
the
it.
factory,
Place.
Andy Warhol, you may have heard of a little
Yeah.
painter, okay, yeah, he used to call his studio where everybody used to congregate, the factory.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep.
I'm getting
So
a
we
little
could-
art history here.
Yeah. You were probably doing other things back then.
I was in art class.
What did you
I
were
was
in the service?
art class. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did that
yeah.
afterwards. Yeah, but I was in art class.
And right now, they don't have music theory, right?
Oh yeah, did you know
In the
that?
schools,
They
cut
don't.
music.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
That's a
I
little
didn't
off
know that.
topic,
Too,
but
is that true?
What is it?
I've heard they don't do homework anymore in schools, is that true?
Wow, I don't know. But I'm very concerned about that.
Very.
He just
Oh,
realized that,
Kevin's
yeah.
raises his hand.
Yeah.
Yes,
Just to be not title, and I never did homework either, so.
I know, we could try online.
First of all, that was a great idea, and events or things don't happen without the ideas to start with, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted just to mention to the public that the Moosup Valley State Trail opened with a ribbon cutting ceremony, because we talk about how economic development ties in from one piece to another. That trail also ends up in places where you can actually go and rest and shop. So I think that's a great thing. We've been talking recently about continuing on the trail all the way to the Quinnebog Valley. Matter of fact, I was on a phone call today about the Quinnebog Valley Trail continuation, and it's kind of stalling out in the Killingly side of it, and they may even give back the $6 million that they were gifted, and we will be in line to pick it up. So I'm looking to do that, and I'm sure you're going to mention this. We had a meeting today about Interrail, so there's more things happening, but I just want to say that there's great ideas to come forward, and hopefully we can find a board or a group to go in depth and look at what can be. I know you mentioned a couple of the properties. Yes, we are selling the ECC building, and that is, we'll be having a realtor picked by the Board of Selectmen and start the process. I think your better of the three would have been All Hallows. That is something right now is just sitting there vacant. Then the Oregon Mills is about to be sold. So
Nice.
we're looking for more things from them. So, but yeah, I think a smaller scale to start with and move forward, but definitely a lot of research has to be done. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else for public participation, we'll be moving on to reports.
Okay, so reports, I gave everyone the newsletter. Just some updates on current applications. We did receive the Do It City Savings Bank Foundation grant. We got $1,500. That will be going towards senior fitness programs. They were funded in previous years by Title III. Title III has decided not to fund that program anymore, so we've been having to charge the seniors. In the new year, they've already paid through December, so we're thinking of starting it in January, giving them at least a short-term free classes, which will be good right after the holidays. Be good for everyone.
The seniors?
Yeah.
At the senior center?
Yeah, so that would be their, I believe it's the chair yoga, Let's Get Moving. We're all under that free
Okay.
class, so this will help fund the instructors' pay, so then you don't have the seniors pay for it. At least short term, and we'll just look for more solutions for that one. Brownfield's assessment grant, we'll be partnering with DEEP, with the Keystone Cleaners location. We had a representative come down, I think her name was Amanda. She toured all of our Brownfield's properties and was very interested in helping us with the Keystone Cleaners. So,
How helping? How?
to get it cleaned, to
Okay.
do the
They
full
have-
assessment and to help
Okay.
with cleanup. So they're doing a big application with different towns, and we were one of the ones selected.
Okay.
So hopefully that works out. We don't know, but they're handling all that. To go along with Interrail, we are applying for the SIF grant, which is the Community Investment Fund. We're at round 6. That one closes December 13th. We only have about a few weeks left before that closes. We're estimating right now $16 million. That will be for all the removal of the contaminants that are currently there and to help demolish some of what's standing. The goal is for Jason Sisto to then develop on the property for residential, indoor sports, and a restaurant, which would be great for this area. We are also again applying for, we didn't get it last, when I first started in January, we applied for the Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program for fiscal year 24. We did not receive that one. We're going to try again for 2025 for American Legion Ambulance to get them a new ambulance. We decided we're going to keep trying until maybe they fund us. We are also working on an animal control grant. That one would be for spay-neuter clinics or trap and release programs. So we're going to start small with that one and do probably $2,500 to $5,000. See if we can get it. They don't normally give to municipalities, mostly nonprofits, but when I spoke to them, they said they'd be very interested in our application. So hopefully that one goes well. That one's due in January. We're also, I didn't add this list because I just remembered it. We are looking for kind of an invasive species for plants in the woods of, what's it called, Japanese knotwood, I think it's
Japanese knotwood, yeah.
yeah, to spray, remove some of that. So we're going to do estimates now. That one is also due in January. And then if that goes well, then we'll keep reapplying for that program to hopefully eliminate it all. Current projects is the Inroad DCD grant, so that's our current one where we had EPA funds and the original brownfields grant. We are using that money to do a structural analysis right now because the developer is interested in trying to preserve as much as he can of the foundations and siding as long as it is safe. If the structural engineers come back where it's not safe, we'll obviously remove it. We have the after school grant, which was for $71,000. This is our second year of it. That program's going well. We have kids attending the program, and that will expire at the end of the school year. Our park mural, that one's just kind of in a waiting period. We have a team kind of meeting about what they would like to see on the mural, and we're working with Rise Up. Lions Park, we're at a standstill right now. We're working on getting the basketball court completed. We're having some issues with the company there, but we're handling it. Next step would be to add permanent bathrooms to the existing pavilion. And then that should use up the remaining funds. If we still have funds left, we'll do lighting around the track. Plainfield Pavilion, that one was at a standstill. We just hired a town engineer, so we're hoping he can help with the site plan of it, and then we don't have to do the design build, which came back with $3 million. So we're hoping he can help with the design, and then we'll go up to a build bid. Keep Downing open space, it's pending state contracts like it has been for a while now. Hopefully we can get some movement in the new year for that one. Rec master plan, same thing, waiting on the contracts from the state. The registrar's grant, we received 2 separate $20,000 grants for voting. They're expensing that now. They have till December 31st to fully expense that. That's kind of a wrap.
That's a lot.
We were talking about the basketball court as far as
Yes.
finishing that. Is part of that lighting? Is it the lighting that needs to be?
No, so we have the lighting already
Okay,
there.
that's already
We
in
have
place.
lighting for over the fitness court and then for the basketball court, and there is a camera on the basketball court one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
you do have
make sure.
lighting out there.
Yep,
I guess that's what I meant,
But
it's
the
not
track
not so
lighting.
much the physical, but is it?
It's
like-
not hooked up
It's
yet.
not.
yeah, it's not
okay,
done.
okay.
No, our
This-
big issue right now is the painting of the court.
Okay.
When they first came to do it, they were not doing it how they originally told us to, so we've had a lot of back and forth with the company about doing it properly before they can get paid.
Yeah, yeah.
So their next step is, if you go up to it now, it's gonna look horrible, because they came out with a machine to scrape up, so they're gonna scrape up the current coat. And I don't know if we're gonna have it before the winter is completed. The lines are all sealed, so that was the big thing. So as long as those lines are sealed, we're not gonna have to deal with any cracking of the concrete, so we'll be fine till the spring. Nothing happens, but we are persistent with them, getting some answers.
I'm impressed. All the
Thanks.
grants you're doing. I mean, there's grants on here, people could be walking down the street and not even know that it's something that needs to be addressed, like Japanese knotwood. Who would know? So
Yeah.
thank you for working on that, you know? Grateful for that work.
The Shepherd Hill sidewalks are really utilized.
Mhm.
They're still being used a
Yeah,
lot, always, and especially when there's an event, but there's a lot of people using them.
yeah, we're gonna work on getting something to connect Shepherd Hill down 205. There's,
Yeah.
the grants we got for the other sidewalks aren't open yet. We don't know if they're gonna open. They don't tell us. It's just a
No.
random day we get an email saying it's open.
Right.
So we're waiting, hopefully we get that email. If not, we're trying to find other avenues we can get sidewalk funding to complete that project.
What is Japanese now?
It's
If you
a,
want some, come to my property, I'll give you all you want.
Oh, good.
I would ask you not to, because
What is it though?
it's an invasive weed, and it actually grows the roots under the ground and come in like big balls under the ground. You look at anywhere along the town, you see this huge greenery, and then in the fall, it starts turning into white flowers. It spreads everywhere,
Okay.
so you don't want it.
Is it like
Where are we
bamboo?
finding it?
They call it, some people call it bamboo,
yeah.
but it is called Japanese knotwood. It's very, very invasive.
Where is it found right now? Like in our,
All over the country.
well, I mean, in our parks, are we
Oh.
finding it at like
Along the
Sherbrooke?
roadsides, you might even see some crawling up the support wires.
Oh, wow.
You'll see it growing up and then covering all the lines.
And Kevin's your.
Take a tour.
Well, thank you for working on that.
Yeah, so that one's from Deep, so hopefully with that, and then in the summer, we'll apply for some tree clearing, because some trees need to be cleared, I think they're dead or dying, so we'll do a full inventory of those ones, and then we'll get grants from Deep for that one.
I just want to add one more thing. The list is impressive, and the public should really understand that these grants, most of these grants are so that we don't have to fund to have things done. There are some matching components to some of the grants, but most of the stuff you heard from that list are so that it covers everything. And you added up, what was it, we added up from between you and Jordan over a few million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like 4 million.
Yep.
In the past couple of years.
And we had it's the other one, which is a connectivity grant, connectivity trail between the two trails, Moosup and Quinnebog. That one alone is something that we didn't really go after hard, but we got $7 million out of it. And if if Killingley drops theirs, we could get another 6. So a lot of work for monies that we don't have to expend out of our tax dollars.
That's great. We're not SIF round 6 rounds of the SIF grant?
Yeah, so this is their 6th rounds of funding, so we
Oh,
applied.
funding, I thought it was an application.
No, so we applied for Intrail round 3, but we did not receive it, but the state has been asking for us to reapply.
Good.
So we really want to make sure that we get the application in before funding starts drying up, so
Very good.
we're hoping we have good luck with this round. So it'll be a stressful few weeks,
Great.
but we'll get it done.
Okay, moving on to old business, the Art Business Grant Program.
There's been no changes in funding for what people have used. I was missing one company from the August 1st deadline, so I just sent her a follow-up email today, just to make sure that she did receive it. The next round of reports are due December 1st, so everyone will be getting a reminder email from me next week. I think we don't have a lot left who haven't expensed all. Time to do the report, they tell me why the funds were helpful, so it's nice reading those. That a lot of this money helped save a lot of these businesses during COVID, so it was definitely a good utilization of those funds.
Very good. Next item is Business of the Year. We, of course, chose that at the last meeting. I did send a personal congratulatory letter to her, and she was very appreciative of that. And it was also reminding her about the tree lighting, so I made sure I noted the date and time and all that in there, so hopefully she's able to make it. As far as commission members, is everyone planning on being there or not available?
I'm the other town.
Okay,
I will not be there, I have to work my other job, unfortunately.
Okay. June?
Yeah, I'll be there.
I have, the award is on order,
Okay.
so I reached out to, I forgot what place it was, it's the one in Killingley. There's one in Woodstock and one in Killingley, I always confuse them.
Mm.
I think it's awards and printing.
Oh, yeah.
Killingley, so
Yeah.
that's where we've previously got the awards from, so we did the exact same plaque up. Tomorrow I will be bringing the plate from that plaque. You can see the missing one. It is sitting in my car with all the information, so I'll bring that to him as well, so we'll have all of that ready to go.
Okay.
And then because I wasn't going to be able to attend, I was just going to write her a note from me, that way, just congratulating her and thanking her for having a business in town.
So June and I will be there, and so figure we can join Kevin and obviously.
Is it December 6th? Is that
December
the date?
6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Starting at what time?
5:15.
Early.
5:15? I can remember where
Santa at 5:17.
What?
Santa at
Santa.
5:17.
Can you wait for me to get here? In traffic, I'm coming through to London. I'll text you all here.
Yeah, if you can join us, that'd be great.
Oh, of course, yeah, absolutely.
So as far as the nominations, I did have somebody who asked me about that, like, they saw the announcement and thought that was a great choice. So then they were asking, so when can they, have an updated, nomination form, and send that in? It's like, honestly, it's something you can think about throughout the year. You don't have to wait until next fall.
Right.
Yeah, so we can do it when we want to push that, because I think we want to move it to Celebrate Plainfield Day
Right,
next year, so we'll have to move it up anyways.
okay.
So we can decide when we want to start the next.
There's nothing else for that. Next item under new business is the EDC bylaws. I think I saw that was a copy. But everyone here, of course, has a copy that we've been looking at and discussing over time. So this is really an opportunity to, again, we've had some discussions already. Is there anything else that's kind of come up that anybody has noticed that thinks we should discuss and consider changing? I know Shannon already worked on some of the changes, outlining them as far as what we discussed, if we were to proceed with it. Whatever we decide to do, at some point we would have to make it official and make a motion as a commission to adopt the changes that we don't necessarily have to do that tonight. I'm just saying that at some point down the road, we probably want to do that to make it official. June, I don't know if you've noticed anything else besides what we've talked about.
I know, but we talked about something, and I can't remember. Was it the budget? We didn't, preparation of the budget, 5
I think we had at one point, yeah.
Do we need to get into the budget preparation? I don't know if it was that one. It was something that we talked about before.
Yeah, the preparation of budget was something we had talked about. I mean, it's in there, but the truth is we as a commission don't really
We
have
don't really have
a lot to
anything to
discuss and to request, for the budget annually. So I guess it was a question of, do we just leave that there or do we remove it? Because we couldn't remove it.
Right, that's what I was thinking. That's the only thing that I saw that didn't seem to go along with what we normally address and do. We've never done anything with the budget.
Right.
Detailed estimates of proposed expenditures. We've just never done that.
And I do feel too that if there was anything, it would fall under your department. It would be
Yes,
you.
It would be you would
Yeah,
do it.
so our commission only has the budget for the recording secretary to get paid. That's what our,
That was the only thing.
yeah, so that's what I think is probably in it for.
Mhm.
Could there ever be a need for it? Could there ever be a project or an event or a change of the work that this commission does where it needs to discuss funding, budget, or its own internal budget?
Maybe down the road, so right now, like when we do our table events, I just take it out of my budget of when we need stuff. But if there was like a year where if it was me or someone else in that role had a lot of expenses in their supplies and we wouldn't have anything coming in, then I don't know if that's where.
And 4.1 is the annual report.
Yeah, so I just
That's
normally
another
take care of
one.
the annual
Yeah.
report, because so ours is due October 31st.
But 3.1, we have a list of our duties, which is a lot, actually. It's
Yeah.
quite a bit of duties, which is good. I mean, it really explains what the commission's all about, so that should stay, I believe, unless there's anything strange in there that we never do.
No, and I know the big one that we talked about, which kind of falls under one of these already, is for the members of the commission to be active in the community, which we are, but particularly with business, as far as visiting business, supporting local business, but reaching out to them and seeing, like, is there anything that, you would like to see, in support of from the town, because, we have to face the fact that, they're not gonna come to us
No.
here and obviously bring it to our attention.
Right.
But we can visit them and be like, hey, it's something that, if you have something, I could bring it up for discussion, at a meeting.
Right,
So that's
so
it.
they could come to it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I saw, those two, the budget and the annual report, didn't seem to be, I don't know if it was necessary.
Yeah, well, the annual report, since we're back to doing, because we haven't always had an annual report like every year, but we've been back, now for several years of making, so I think that, yeah, it should be noted that, just like all other commissions will have something, to add to the report.
Anybody else see anything in these? Public participation, the 3-minute time limit, do we need that? I don't think, it's a different type of public participation.
Yeah.
When people come and want to discuss things, so I don't know if we need that in there, 3 minutes.
That's a good point.
So, some boards, you really need that,
Right.
you know, but,
I mean, I would be fine with anything. Just that little line.
yeah.
So, the members can decide if we want to, again, go with this, or do we want to just put this on hold for the time being and revisit it at a later meeting, or what are your thoughts?
I don't know.
Like I said, it could be either way. It also could be something like we could adopt the changes that we've discussed and that Shannon has outlined for us, along with this one that we've started. We could just go with that for now, and it's not to say that, next year we won't necessarily revisit it again. We certainly can.
Okay.
That's okay, we can go to next month too. 'Cause we also haven't seen these in a long time.
Mhm.
I know,
It's been months.
I know, I finally have a printed copy,
Yeah.
so I don't want to let that go. I'd be willing to table it.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to table it until next month.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second to table any actions on EDC bylaws until next month. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, moving on to correspondence. I did want to give Denise an opportunity here. There was an email that she had sent out about a survey. I actually already participated in the survey.
Yeah, I already did.
I thought it was great, but she's just going to mention it a little bit, and certainly the other members can. So.
Thank you so much. So my day job, I work for the Chamber of Commerce of Eastern Connecticut in London. And one of my colleagues administers ERTD, which is Eastern Regional Tourism District, which basically does work to promote tourism in Eastern Connecticut at a legislative level. And they created a survey, really short, and I thought it would be nice for us to go through it together, just about tourism in our town. It'd be nice to hear some ideas, and I'll just record them. And it won't take very long, so I appreciate your time. Well, so the first question is, please list the top 3 attractions in your town that you believe best represent its unique character.
Do you want answers now, or? you
Yes.
just-
Oh yeah, like tell
Oh.
me, like let's talk out loud. Moosehead Pond, I get that. That's my favorite spot.
The river trail, obviously.
River Trail, great. Sugar
I'd say that.
You looking to us too?
All of it. I think this is a very,
The 4 villages,
like, the 4 villages as.
that we have actual villages, yeah. I think that's something that isn't going away. We're not gonna become one Plainfield ever. It's gonna be 4 villages, I think, always, so.
I like that.
So
Who's the Valley
emphasize the,
State Trail?
Is that different than River Trail? Forgive me. Because you said River Trail?
What is the river
The
trail?
Quinnipiac.
Oh,
That's different, yeah.
Yeah.
forgive me. I'm gonna get those in. What about River Trail and Moosehead? Moosehead Valley State Trail.
State Trail, yeah. Versus the Quinnebog Valley, Quinnebog River Trail.
What is it?
Mm.
That is very unique. We are.
Would-
I think it's
Two.
two.
oh, two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote a little article on it, so there's actually 2.
Do you know where the other one is?
Oh,
Yep, I
west.
can't remember where it is, but it's, I think it's out in Indiana. in that
Oh,
area.
okay. It's in a, yeah, you're right, I think it is.
They have a whole week,
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
and they do all sorts of events,
Celebrations.
Yeah.
softball tournaments, pie eating contests, the whole gamut of what you find in the summertime fair,
Right.
but they do it all week long.
And it's soon to establish art space. It's right there.
Yeah.
Great. I can go on to the next
Okay, oh, that was just question one?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Question two, there's a link for me. So, what are your primary tourism priorities for your town? Example, attracting more visitors, supporting local businesses, preserving natural or historical sites, enhancing visitor experiences.
All of the above.
Yeah.
About
Offering more passive recreation events.
What do you mean by passive recreation? Like,
Okay, so like the walking trails are great passive recreation. Eventually, we'd like to be able to put in the Cape Downing Park over there, so that would be another one where you can do the walking nature trail, you can do a bicycle trail, you can do a horse trail, or the disc golf, so those are passive recreations.
The goal is to not disturb wildlife as much.
I
So
love
you
that.
keep it all still there and not develop pavilions or man-made structures.
Well, that's, we have the state, we call it the hatchery,
Mhm.
but that really is a good example of not touching wildlife
Yeah.
and just enjoying it without any kind of, nothing going on there or being used.
I'd like to state again, like as I did earlier, places for congregation. Coffee shops.
Plainfield Pavilion is another one that will be coming up.
Pavilion, yes.
Pavilion, yeah.
The downtown Moosup Rotary Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? What's the next one? Thank you so much. I appreciate this. How would additional tourism funding benefit your town organization specifically? Please describe potential initiatives, improvements, or expansions that can be made with increased state funding.
Everything's always better with state funding.
We could finish Lions Park off with
Like
more
it's a
state
pavilion,
funding.
Something, so if do you have enough funding to finish Lions Park?
It's
For the
not
first
really.
phase,
Okay.
but there's still a
Second
lot
phase.
more.
Second phase could include, if we had funding, the raised covered stage at the other end, a splash pad, additional parking.
Yeah.
A raised covered what?
Stage.
Oh, stage, yeah. Splash pad, additional parking.
And that would be so some of those children who go out to act and can do like Shakespeare in the park.
Exactly.
Yes.
I love this conversation. Anything else?
So rephrase the question one more time,
Absolutely.
please.
How would additional tourism funding benefit your town organization specifically?
It will allow us to advertise our amenities. I have a marketing budget, but it's not enough to advertise all year, all the things we can do.
I would love us to take updated photography, when we had photos, I think we really get some nice drone photo, there's really good ways to market, but not just scenery, also our community, like people smiling together and, all that stuff. But I think
That's huge, is advertising. So we went to, I'm trying to think of the name of the farm,
Oh, it's the one in Brooklyn.
Little Dipper?
Farm.
Little Dipper Farm,
Yeah.
and we had an event there talking about tourism.
Oh, great.
So we talked about
Who
how
hosted it?
Chamber and a few others, yeah.
Northeast,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yes,
during that, one of the biggest things was talking about the funding for your marketing. And they kept on picking on Mystic for a good reason,
yeah.
because it's a positive way to present your community. And I thought that would be fantastic if we got funding. You can do some micro things with what you have, very micro, but to make it a statewide way to present your community or your region, I think is very important. So funding for that would be fantastic. And a theme, of course.
And what?
A theme.
Theme?
I mean, you don't want to exclude everybody. We don't want to keep on calling it the quiet corner, but we
Yeah.
do want to keep on making it so that people want to go out and visit the area for exactly what you've been marking down so far, with different things in each town.
Anything else? tourism development of specific needs in your town?
Specialty events, I can give you an example of some of the small specialty events, and that's fireworks. We have fireworks, we have it in a decent place. I'd like to expand those, not just once a year, but also do something more with, hear me out. This is for,
Think big.
okay, but this is for something that we don't do around here, but it also helps veterans with PSTDs, it also has help for people who have pets. But you have the drones, which do shows now.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, and I don't think anybody around here does that at all. So that's another way to draw people in for events.
You're saying instead of fireworks?
No, both.
Oh, both fireworks?
There's actually one company that does the drones, and then off of a couple of their displays, they have what do they call those, like raindrop fireworks that come down off of those. I'm actually in the process of looking for a sponsor right now to pay for it for a couple of years. And all they get out of it really is kind of simple. The drone company would actually put their logo up there saying sponsored by. So it's a good trade-off. But those are specialty things that you have that helps to, promote your town, events to do, different things. Like DJ parade. Specialty.
Thank you. Anything else? Great. I like that. Thank you for letting me do that.
All right, and the only other thing under correspondence is Shannon, if you could maybe mention about this, I saw that you could,
Yeah,
left this.
it was just on
Numbers, take a look at.
one of the historical buildings, because we are in a historical district right here, because a lot in Mills. It was just one of the houses where someone bought it and they were taking it down. So because of our charter, it has to go to different commissions, and then if any commissions had issues with it, then they have to, I think, tell the board of selectmen, or,
We talked about it, I think, already. Yes, we did.
yeah, so we have to bring it to someone if anyone had an
Are you
issue.
talking about the building?
The address is on the paper.
I don't think it matters if you have an issue.
We don't,
Yeah. I know.
unfortunately, the building is beyond bringing it back.
Yeah.
But they just wanted to make sure that we all knew about it.
Yeah, it's just our charter rules
Okay.
that has to go to, I think there's like 4 or 5 different commissions.
Yeah, I think it might be ordinance 99. We talked about that before. Ordinance 99 says, here's the following boards and commissions that have to be at least notified.
So this is our notification.
This is
Yeah.
like a lot of this house is, you can't really see it very well, right? It's locked
Yeah,
in.
it's kind of hidden. Unlike the other one that's along the roadway that looks like they pulled all the bushes and trees away from it. They
Yeah,
haven't done anything with it yet.
it goes to Historical Society, Economic Development Commission, Conservation, Planning and Zoning, Board of Selectmen, Town Clerk, so everyone's notified.
I'm just sad that it's pre-Revolutionary War, 1760.
Wow.
That's sad.
I know. When something's not used, it's not kept up.
Yeah.
And that would be what our town hall would look like if we didn't have a town hall here. Because it's been since the 1940s. This building's had to be kept up. I can't imagine what it would look like if we didn't have our business office here, town hall.
All right, so that's all I have for correspondence. Shannon, anything?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Well done.
If nothing else from the commission, I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.